Lou Tilley here in the NTL studios. It's time to meet more of the Noontime Legends.
I'm Curtis V. Hill. I'm 35 years old. I've worked at UNM since 2007. I've been playing with Noontime Legends for about 4 years now. I grew up in a small town in Las Vegas, New Mexico. My brother and I, he's 10 months older than I am. He was bigger than I was, and so I got my booty kicked on the court. I tried my hardest to beat him. Played in high school, played baseball, football, basketball. Discovering the Noontime Legends brought back that competitive edge that I needed to fulfill in my life.
His competitiveness threw us for a loop a little bit, coupled with his incredible speed and skill and strength.
Curtis is, that's a full workout tape. That's P90X in a jar right there.
When he joined, he brought the game to a different level. We had to be basically above our A game to play with him.
But he's great. I think he adds a great element to our game. Really skilled, really solid scorer, exceptional defender. We actually played against each other in high school. Again, he was the same kind of guy in high school. He's gotten a lot better though. Hard-nosed, solid defender. He's always been really strong, right? And I think he doesn't realize that he's the strongest guy on the court from time to time. Although he's pretty soft, so I hope that makes the tape, because if you foul him, it's a quick foul.
And one of the smartest as well. He sees so many different things when he has the ball to make it impossible to guard him.
If they're weak at some part of the game, you try to use that against them. So whether or not they're slow-footed to the right or to the left, they go for pump fakes, you try to start understanding what they do or don't do. I don't care if they're 20 or 80 years old, I will use your disadvantage or your weakness against you, and I will win the ball game.
I find more frustrating his ability to get around the defender and pull up for these 5, 7, 8-foot shots.
He will consistently and constantly get inside rebound position that you thought you had and steal the ball away from you.
We quickly saw that Curtis could control a game, and that's still kind of the case, but he controls it more democratically now and is more interested in trying to get more people involved in the game.
I try to put my players in the best position possible to score, and so I think that's my biggest asset. Helping my guys coach them up a little bit, I feel that helps the camaraderie of the team a little bit.
He brings out the best in you, and by the time I'm done playing against Curtis, I'm spent.
I'm Marcos Roybal. I'm 33 years old. I've worked at UNM as an associate director since 2015, and I've been playing Noontime Legends since about 2003. Grew up playing in Espanola Valley, ended up going to high school in Pojoaque. Was a first team All-State member, I think 2 or 3 years in a row. Got college scholarship offers and actually ended up trying to go and play at Fort Lewis College, and just kind of realized that, school was probably going to lead me a lot further than going to go play at a Division II school, and ended up making the right choice there.
Jeez, tremendous ball player, quick, agile, very good leader too on the court.
He's a very difficult matchup. He can shoot the mid-range jump shot, he can shoot a 3, he can get to the rim. Not a very big guy, but a strong guy. So he's a tough competitor as well, and he's a very confident player.
He does well with body control and strength and gets you a little bit off balance, just enough to create some space.
I watch his shooting form a lot, and he has the same follow-through, the same form anywhere he shoots. And he's gotten to the point where he can shoot off a pick, shoot off the dribble, and it's the same form every time. So I can appreciate his discipline.
Marco's very talented player. I actually had him working with my older daughter on her offensive game because he is a very smart basketball player.
Good driving guard, younger guy, so he's able to get up and down the floor pretty good, but he doesn't back down from anybody as well.
Because he really wants to win. He's still very competitive. I think of Marcos in the same way as I think of Steph Curry or Chris Paul in the NBA, just all around a good player and just chill. He's just kind of stoic. He is a cool customer, plays really well.
With basketball, I've learned a lot and taught others a lot about, leadership, working together, accomplishing a goal. To me, it's all about the journey, and I think the game of basketball takes you through all those aspects of life, really.
I'm Eric Boglin, aka Easy. I'm 47 years old. I've worked at UNM for Johnson Center Recreational Services since 1998, and I was a student before that, so I've actually worked at the gym for about 28 years. I've been playing with the Noontime Legends since about 2011 or 2012. You know, I'm one of those guys that didn't really ever play any organized basketball as a youngster anyways, but I was a big fan of watching Michael Jordan. When I came to UNM, I took a couple basketball PE classes, so that's where my love for the game kind of blossomed. My dad took me to Lobo games as long as I can remember. We've had season tickets. I'm not the most athletic, and I'm not God's gift to basketball. If we don't have a good guard on the team, I like to bring the ball up and try to get the offense running, you know, pass and cut, so to speak. I'm not a great shooter. I'm not a great driver. I'm not taking anyone to the hole.
Good overall player, been playing with Easy for a long time, knew him in college. Good outside mid-range shooter.
You know, he can make his open shots and things like that, but Easy is, I think, the ultimate team player.
My gosh, has he improved. He is such a better basketball player. And I think part of that is probably his son, playing basketball with his son.
He had one game just a few weeks ago. I think he had 5 or 6 of our baskets. That can be easy sometimes. And not only outside shots, but he'll drive and get it up there too and surprise you.
What I'm getting at here with most of it is that it's a good mix, and Easy, I think, provides that, hey guys, this is just a game, you know?
And like I said, I don't worry too much about my role. I just go out there and play. I want to have fun. I don't try to think too much about it. I have the rest of my life, you know, dealing with my 17-year-old and working to think. I just want to go out there and play.
I'm Donald Martinez. I am 54 years old. I'm a master electrician here at the University of Mexico, going on 30 years of service. And I've been playing with the Noontime Legends since about 2010. Growing up, my father built us a real nice basketball court in our backyard. Due to the fact that my brother was an avid player, you know, he played for Highland High School back then, and it was all state. And he was a big inspiration. He taught me how to really play basketball. During middle school, I played intramural basketball after school. That was my first introduction to really playing on a team per se. Other than that, it was just shooting around with friends at the park or in our backyard, nothing serious. The first time I really got to play in a league or per se with a team was when I got, you know, to play with the Legends. As far as contributing to the game on my end, I think my shooting has been improved, 100%, and it's been real helpful in a lot of the games. I go to the gym daily, get into basketball, and I'm shooting for a half hour, 45 minutes.
He is either continuing to work on his shot, or he's gone to the crossroads and, you know, made a deal with the devil that in these later years in his life, he's going to be a good, effective outside shooter because those shots go in.
Donald, I like playing with him because I'd say I get matched up with him a lot. I don't know if it's because we're two brown dudes or what. About the same size, about the same, shape. I like playing with him. He's a real good dude off the court too. Just a friendly guy.
Donald, the guy can shoot from the outside. Always in a good mood, always glad to play, and great teammate.
To be honest, it is the guys. It's the people I play with. I look forward to seeing them. I couldn't ask for a better group of guys.
I'm Jacobo Baca. I'm 38 years old. I've worked at UNM since, I've been a staff member just for a couple of years. Before that, I would adjunct occasionally for the history department. And gosh, I started playing Noontime Legends, I want to say about 2011, 2012. I grew up in Peñasco, New Mexico, and like most northern New Mexico towns, basketball's the sport. I mean, people are basketball crazy. It was also my dad's and my brother's favorite sport, so I grew up watching it. My dad was a Celtics fan, my brother was a Lakers fan. We had a basketball hoop in our yard. My dad would go play with us. It wasn't a once in a while thing, it was daily. And, I never actually played in the organized team. As a junior in high school, I took these concurrent enrollment courses at Northern New Mexico Community College. And that's actually probably where my basketball skills grew the most.
He's strong, he's stout, and it hurts when you run into him. And so I try not to.
I have a very funky shot. I took a class here at UNM as an undergrad, and we had an instructor who was just amazed at my shot. He thought it was the ugliest thing he'd ever seen.
I call it a catapult shot because it isn't a classic form.
I shoot with both hands. I put my right hand under, and I'm left-handed, and I push up and I kind of push over with my left hand and pull down with my right, and it creates a forward rotation. So I know one thing is I'm hard to rebound. That ball bounces off that rim and it goes flying in a lot of different directions.
He's all hustle, man. He'll always go get you boards. He'll hustle for that loose ball. He'll go in and defend. Anything you need, he's gonna do, you know.
For me, I mean, I measure my success on the court by the defense I play. If somebody passes the ball to the person I'm guarding and my defense is good enough to convince them to pass the ball out, I see that as a success.
I'm Jason A. Snap. I'm 46 years old. I've worked at UNM as a information specialist at University Library since 2006. And I've been playing with Noontime Legends since about 2014. I grew up in a small town of about 2,000 people, Walters, Oklahoma, near the Texas border. I played in high school. Didn't start, even though I was playing for like a very small town team, but always loved it. I was probably a little too skinny to play back then. Growing up, I was kind of like an artist, almost a loner. So basketball, for me, was very therapeutic to just shoot free throws and work on my shot. I don't have a problem playing inside. I like the post-up game. I think I could do a pretty good job as like a small forward, power forward-ish position. I could shoot outside if needed. I like shooting outside.
He has an outside shot that's kind of sweet. You tend to give it to him, but he's one of those guys that can get it going, and if you give him too many chances to shoot from the outside, he'll burn you a few times.
I got a good hook. I can do right and left within a certain area. I'd say I have some pretty damn good defense. My hands are quicker than people realize.
I like to guard him because he's about my caliber, slow, per se.
You know what I think of Jason? I love his smile. He's just got the greatest smile, and he never gets overly intense. He's having a good time all the time. Yeah.
I think I bring a positive attitude, a good mentality, an appreciation of sportsmanship. Yeah.
Two different times I got injured. I cracked my sternum, and then another time I cracked ribs.
And of course, being knocked down and getting these huge bruises and cuts on my hands and fingers.
I know the few times I've almost gotten injured, and the time I have gotten injured, I can pinpoint for me what it was is I was trying to play like a young person. Like I went on the court and tried to do things that my body wasn't prepared to do.
My name is Terry Kern. I'm a physical therapist here in Albuquerque, and I've been in practice for about 37 years. Yeah, I do see a lot of senior athletes in all sports and activities.
Since '71, there's various injuries that have occurred to my knees, to my shoulders, to my ankles.
My knees, to be truthful, especially my right knee. I know it's in bad shape.
Toward the ACL and MCL on this knee.
Most of the people that I see, they have lost a lot of flexibility. Flexibility of the hamstrings that really impact the knees, the groin muscles as well, and the lower leg muscles. And those really can impact the function of the knee, especially in an activity like basketball.
Unfortunately, I've sprained my ankle and twisted my knee up, in the past 6 months, and you have to limp at work for the next 6 weeks.
I've sprained each of my ankles at least 3 times and my left knee twice over the course of the years of playing, but right now it's my 2 feet that are hurting me the most.
My left Achilles has been stressed or strained lately, and so I've been having to focus more on stretching when I show up.
The one time when I went out for like half a year for like my ankle thing, I landed on someone's foot and that part sucked and I was pissed.
The knee kind of follows what the hip and the ankle does. And so looking at, the extremities, you want to work on all of those muscles that impact the hip, the knee, and the ankle. And that would include, like I mentioned, the hamstrings, the quadriceps, the lower leg muscles such as the soleus and the gastrocnemius, and also the groin muscles that really affect the hip.
I got knocked down and I had my knee really swell up.
My biggest pain that's consistent are my knees.
There are things that you can do to manage your knee pain and still continue with your lifestyle that you have chosen without having to resort to the surgery to solve your knee pain problem.
So going in and getting a knee replacement was one, scary in the sense of just doing it. Two, the fact that I wasn't going to be able to do half the things that I used to do. But you know, I again very fortunate from the standpoint of at the end of the day, it was the right thing to do, and it's allowed me to continue to play ball, be a little bit more mobile, and with a lot less pain.
The injuries tend to linger longer. The recovery time is slower. My body aches more often.
The protein genesis is so important after exercise and the breakdown of the muscle, and the body needs that protein to regenerate. So it's very important that we get enough protein in our diets to allow the body to heal thyself after playing, you know, a relatively rigorous and tough game. The other thing that I really stress, especially down here, is hydration. You've got to hydrate. You know, we live in the desert, and if you don't hydrate, you're putting yourself at higher risk of injury. The body needs that water.
When we're playing twice a week, my joints, back, neck, shoulders, they kind of run at a consistent level on a scale of 10 of a pain 3 level or something. And lately, since we've had some times where the facilities haven't been available for weeks at a time, I've noticed that the pain in my joints dissipates quite a bit.
I think you can over-exercise too much because exercise breaks the body down, and you have to give it time to recover. You know, I always tell people motion is lotion. And I think that is true even after you've really pushed yourself to the degree that you did in playing a game. Doing lighter activities the following day and maybe the day after is very good medicine for the body to regenerate and to come back, be ready to go for the next game.
Am I ready to play basketball?
I think you are. I think that all of those things that you now have on are beneficial. A brace is not going to replace what the muscles, the connective tissue are designed to do to support and mobilize the joints. However, by wearing a brace, I think it gives you a sense of position of where your knee is. It kind of prevents you from going to the extremes of movement when you're playing. It kind of gives you feedback of where that joint is. So I think it does help.
I actually didn't play for almost a year and a half because it was November, I sprained it, I tore it in February, and then didn't come back until the following, and then I didn't have the surgery till May, didn't come back till the following May.
And also when I tore my calf muscle, going for a rebound, but I was out for about a month or so.
I have thrown out my back a number of times, which is really a tough thing.
You have to be prepared, and better prepared than probably when you were younger. So you have to work on your flexibility, work on your strength, work on your endurance. You probably have to do more specific activities that are geared more for basketball. Doing things like side-to-side movements, running backwards a little bit, doing some jumping, you know, to reproduce the rebounding and what your body is going through in rebounding. I think preparation is very important as we get older.
Gotta find a way not to hurt myself or the person moving at the same time. And I'm still trying to adjust to that because I can't move out of the way like I want to.
The biggest clue I can give people to try to prevent from injuries is know your limits. And that's very hard for some people to do. So listen to your body. It'll tell you. You just got to be able to listen to what it's telling you.
There's higher compassion, higher understanding. It's as if you don't have to explain yourselves for pausing or checking in. And that's nice to not feel as though you're letting anyone down by watching out for yourself.
Especially when you're pushing your body like you are in a game like basketball. You need to know your body. You know, if you're having a heart incident, I think, you know, chest discomfort is the big thing. I think another thing that we sometimes overlook is dizziness. Shortness of breath can be a telltale sign, as well as pain into the upper extremities.
I noticed if someone was a little winded and face was red, hands on their knees, another person within seconds was right there to pat them on the back and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And they just give each other a little nonverbal communication to say, "I'm good." That feels really good to know if you did hurt yourself, someone is watching out for you.
The last thing that we want to do as we get older, and it's easier to fall into that rut, is to become sedentary. And to be out there and moving is what we should be doing as we get older.
And I think that my body feels better, even though it hurt to do it. It feels better when it's done exercising, and you know what I mean? It's just my back's better, things are loose. No matter how much I ache and hurt, when the game's over and I'm done showering, I feel great.